Morning, I'm Jim, the viticulturist here at Cloudy Bay, and today we're going to go out into the vineyards. It's harvest time and we're going to see what's happening out there today. So looking forward to having you along.
But the sun is shining, so I'm always happy when the sun is shining during harvest. The last thing we want is rain and cloud and cold, so it's very typical of Marlborough. During the harvest period we get lots of sunny, relatively cool days, perfect for ripening grapes. What we don't want now is rainfall or cold weather. It's not very good, but the forecast looks fantastic, so I'm a very happy man at the moment. So here we are in the Widow's Vineyard and in our Sauvignon Blanc vineyards, and the fruit is, we're probably around maybe 2 weeks from harvest now. You can see the different colours. You can see some are looking more yellow, they're more ripe, and then on the inside of where there's not as much sun, some of the flavours are a bit more green, the berries are a bit more green. These still have quite strong herbaceous flavours, sort of like green capsicums or asparagus, but these green flavours over the next few weeks will change and we'll get much more of that sort of citrus, limes, lemons characteristic. When we've got lots of limes and lemons, that's telling us it's time to start harvesting. So there's a lovely bunch of Sauvignon. Everyone always thinks that wine grapes are these big bunches that you see in the fruit shop, but they're quite small. But Sauvignon has these very tight bunches, so there's not a lot of room for these grapes to grow anymore. But yeah, lovely flavours developing. It's a really exciting time to taste. This is a year's hard work. 3 weeks away from seeing these head off to the winery, and this Sauvignon will be in a bottle and for sale in October around the world. And it's an amazing journey from here in the vineyards of Marlborough all the way around the world in such a short period of time. Yeah, just have different vineyards on different days. We're just travelling around at the moment, tasting all the fruit to determine when we should harvest. So whether it's we taste and we think, oh, we need to pick that in maybe 2 or 3 days, or if the flavours are really good, sometimes we might have to rush and harvest that block or that parcel the next day. So we really make all our harvest decisions based on the flavour, and the flavours change quite quickly, even within days for some of our blocks. So myself and the winemaker have to spend a lot of time driving around, eating lots and lots of grapes, just trying to taste, because once we've harvested the grapes we can't change the flavour, and that flavour that we get in those grapes from the vine at that particular time will determine I guess the flavour and the quality of the wine. So here we have some Pinot Noir that we'll be harvesting in about 2 weeks time for our still Pinot Noir, and at the moment the flavours are building. We've got some sort of red fruits like some raspberries and strawberry flavours, and then over the next 2 weeks this will develop much more sort of cherry and plum, some of those darker red fruits that we're looking for Pinot Noir, and the tannins will start to soften and the flavour will become more intense. So we just need time and patience at the moment to wait.
This would be, for me, the most exciting time of the year. It's what we work hard all year for. So harvest is over, we go out there, we start pruning the vines, and in the spring they start pushing and it starts to get exciting, it starts to get busy. We've had an incredibly busy spring this year, but this is the crux of it all. If we've done a great job during the season, this is the time of year that we really see our hard work come to fruition. So it is busy. I manage upwards of 150 people on any given day, and it's just exciting. It's great to see the fruit come in good flavours, good quality, providing good fruit for the winery, and ultimately we make a fantastic product.
Well, a typical day during harvest starts with coming into the winery and just catching up on what we picked the day before, having a quick chat with the winemakers, and then organising our day for checking the grape samples and the sugar levels of the vineyards that we've been harvesting, and then heading out around the blocks and visiting the vineyard parcels that are very close to harvest. And at that stage winemaker and I will decide on which blocks we're going to pick on the next few days, and then after that we go back and put a schedule together. There's lots of people and a big team to organise, so it takes lots of organisation, and then later in the day we'll have a meeting with all the vineyard management team and all the winemaking team, and we all get together and talk about what we're doing for the next few days, and then basically everyone just goes off and starts harvest. So that's a pretty typical day. I'm out there looking at the grapes, sometimes talking with our contract growers also about when we're coming to harvest their blocks, just really keeping a close eye on the progress of all the vineyards, just to make sure that we don't miss anything, and make sure that we pick stuff at that sort of perfect time for us to develop the flavours in the wines that we're really looking for.
Okay, so we're now at the Lansdowne Vineyard. We're not far, only maybe less than 1 kilometre from the winery, and we're picking Pinot Noir down here for Florus. We're down on the valley floor. The soils here are very stony and free draining. These vineyards down here on these stony soils are fantastic for making Pelorus, and the majority of our Pinot Noir that we use for our sparkling wine Pelorus is grown down here on these stony soils.
I'm from Germany. Just a few weeks. Yeah, when the season started, I came here to help, and yeah, it's cool. It's alright. I like the team.
So we're at our Stateland Vineyard, not far from our winery, and we're in a block of Chardonnay. And this Chardonnay will be due for harvest for making our still wine, the Cloudy Bay Chardonnay, in about 7 days from now. And you can see Chardonnay often has big and small berries, and those small berries have very concentrated flavours, and really add, I guess, to the richness of our Cloudy Bay Chardonnay. But yeah, it's tasting quite good now. The colour's turning from green, we're getting some lovely golden colour, which to me, without even tasting, tells me we're close to being ready for harvest. And the flavours are getting quite intense, the sugar level's coming up. Still some lovely acidity, so really looking forward to picking this, and we'll get this to the winery where the boys will and the team will ferment it in oak barrels, and we'll release this in a few years' time.
Cloudy Bay was founded in 1985 by David Honan, who had set up and was the winemaker at Cape Mentelle in Margaret River. And David tasted a New Zealand wine, a Sauvignon Blanc, at his winery in Western Australia, and was absolutely captivated by the flavours and the aromas that he saw in that wine. So he decided to come to New Zealand. For the first few years he bought some grapes and made the first vintages of Cloudy Bay, and then they built our winery in 1987, and I guess the rest is history. It's now become, I guess, the most famous wine of New Zealand and one of the most famous New World wineries anywhere in the world. No, it's always an interesting question, because my job is very much working with the weather, and every year is different. It's one of the beautiful things about making wine, is you can never make the same wine twice, because the weather conditions are different every year.
Hi, I'm Tim Heath, the Senior Winemaker at Cloudy Bay, and my mission here is to try and make the best wine I possibly can, and that for me means expressing the characters of our vineyard sites and transporting those into the bottle and then ultimately into the glass for people to enjoy. And I've been here for 14 years. It's a beautiful part of the world, lovely people, and if you get the chance you should come down and visit us and look around and see what we're all about.
I like the Sauvignon Blanc. I've just tasted the Chardonnay for the first time, and I will be buying that again. It's delicious.
We just checked on the internet, and Cloudy Bay was the first link, like this is the place to be and this is a very good one. You won't be disappointed. That's why we came here.
Well, I think the main goal and the mission at Cloudy Bay is just to make delicious wines that people love to drink. It's quite simply what we do. I mean, I love travelling to Japan. I was there just recently on a holiday, and I think the thing that I most see a connection with Cloudy Bay and particularly the food in Japan is the simplicity, the purity of flavour. It's the time and dedication put into its production, and its pureness and the enjoyment that people get out of it. And I think every time I'm lucky enough to travel to Japan and get to experience a range of different cuisines and people's love of our wines, I think it's a lovely match.